Welcome to the Paintbrush Prairie podcast. I'm Kinsey Ashcraft, a boutique owner, firefighter wife, and mama of 2 cowgirls, homesteading on a cattle ranch in Oklahoma.
And I'm Talia, a Western artist and illustrator, mama of 2, and wife of a mountain man, raising babies in the mountains of Utah.
Together, we share a passion for the Western lifestyle, homemaking, and Indian paintbrush flowers.
We're here to inspire and encourage you as we each create a simple but beautiful life on the prairie. Welcome to Season 5 of the Paintbrush Prairie podcast. We are back and we are really excited to start another season of podcast episodes for you guys. And we are so glad to have you listening. So, Kenzie, how are you? I feel like it's been months since we even actually talked or recorded a podcast. So, how are you?
I'm good. It's been a minute, but I'm glad to be back. I'm ready to get back podcasting. I missed it.
Yeah, we took a little break. We had a bunch of guests in our last season, so if you haven't listened to that, make sure to go to our Apple Podcast or our Spotify, and you can listen to those. We had some really great guests who had tons of wisdom and knowledge to share with us, and we really enjoyed having them. But we are really excited to be back to our, I don't know if we call it our normal format, but just our format for this season, which is going to be mostly just us again. So we're excited to talk about all things homemaking, homesteading this season. Just different things that we haven't talked about before. We're going to try and incorporate. So we're excited to have you listening. And also, I wanted to mention, if you have ideas for us of podcasts that you'd like to hear us record, you can always send us a message on Instagram. Our Instagram is at Paintbrush Prairie, and you can send us a message and be like, hey, will you please do a podcast about XYZ? And we'll try and incorporate it. We want to record things that you guys want to listen to, and so your feedback is vital. And we also could use some more reviews on our Apple Podcasts page. So if you want to head over there, give us a rating and a review with a nice note, or a not so nice note, I guess.
We'd prefer nice.
Prefer nice. But leave us a note telling us what you like about the podcast, and we would really appreciate that because it's been a while since we got a good review. So get on that. Kenzie, tell me about your summer. Tell us about how your summer went.
I basically lived in our garden, which I'm not mad about at all, but I worked my tail off and it was pretty magnificent. Like, I'm still harvesting and we're in the middle of October, which it's gonna frost and freeze soon, so it's pretty much over. I'm probably gonna I should have put it to bed a couple weeks ago, because we're gonna cover crop, which is basically like protecting our soil for the winter and putting nutrients back into it. But that's kind of my plan this weekend. But yeah, I lived out there pretty much, but I loved it. I got lots of good sunshine and I learned a lot. I expanded my flower garden. I've been farming flowers for 2 years now, and I absolutely loved it. I sold bouquets all summer to people. I delivered bouquets for dates, for birthday parties, birthdays, anniversaries, what else? Housewarming. So that was really fun, to get to share those with other people. And yeah, hung out with the girls. This is just like a daily life, so I didn't even include it, but like hay, like I did hay every day.
Right?
It's
This is
just like,
kind of a big one.
it's like brushing your teeth, but in the summer, it's just part of it.
You just don't even think about it.
No. So I was the main one that actually helped with hay this summer. So I was on the tractor a lot. But yeah, we had a good summer. We spent most of our time outside with the animals and in the garden doing hay. The girls just got their new show projects for this new show season. So Scout got another lamb, and we actually took her ewe that she showed this last year, and we took her to get bred. So we'll be lambing in February. We'll have baby lambs.
Oh, so
Um,
fun.
and she's going to raise her own to show for the next season. So she's kind of got a plan. And then Paisley decided not to do sheep this year. She's doing pigs. So that's exciting. My husband, he raised pigs when he was younger, and that's what he showed all through junior high and high school. And so he knows way more about that than I do. But yeah, it's been fun. I've posted a lot about him on our Facebook and Instagram, but his name is Kevin Bacon. And he's like the cutest little thing I've ever seen.
So it was so funny when you posted that, because there's where my in-laws live, there's like a house down the street from them, and they had, for the longest time, they had this like big old fat pig, and they would just, people from the neighborhood would just like come and feed him and stuff. His name was Kevin Bacon too.
Aw. Yeah, I let little Kevin. He's so funny. He's like a puppy. So Paisley is like his person, and so we just let him out, and he just runs around and follows her everywhere. So
Oh, that's so cute.
we're supposed to be going to our first jackpot in a couple of weeks, and he's still so little. I'm like, I don't even know if we're allowed to like take him because he's so small. But we'll see. I'm excited for this new. I showed pigs 1 year when I was younger. My parents showed pigs in FFA, so they gave me the opportunity to try it when I was younger, and I absolutely hated it. We didn't really have the setup for it, and I just thought they were gross, and my pigs were crazy. So,
Wow.
but my husband's all about it, and he had like the show barns and all this stuff, so he had a different experience. But
I was just gonna say, I feel like pigs are just one of those things that like you can't like half do. You have to like do them all the way, like make sure you've got the right pens and everything is just set up just right for them, because otherwise they are really gross.
And surprisingly, he hasn't been yet. I know he'll get bigger and he will, but so far he's been pretty awesome. He's pretty chill. So anyway, we are deep into the working our show animals and trying to get them broke and in shape and all of that, and trying to relearn, like Zach's trying to relearn how to feed a pig right and how they're doing things, because it changes all the time. So yeah, that's kind of what we've been up to lately. What about you? What have y'all been up to? How was your summer?
Well, it was pretty boring in some ways. I mean, it's been interesting because Cody has been training for his ultramarathon for pretty much the majority of this year. And, and we, obviously everyone is feeling this way, but money is really tight and there's just not a lot. We just don't have a lot of leeway. So we pretty much didn't go anywhere or do anything, except for we had a family reunion that we go to every year. So we did that, and then pretty much we went camping a couple of times just so that we could go up to the mountains so that Cody could do some long runs up in the mountains. And then everything else we just saved for the ultramarathon, which was in August. That was an interesting experience because we did it last year. It was Cody's first year last year. He was running a 100 miler. Last year he got to 64 miles, and then he ran out of time. Like, he didn't make it to the next aid station fast enough before the cutoff time, and so they kind of were just like, well, you have to be done. So he was really excited to go back this year, and he had been training really, really hard for it. His training was going great. He changed his training a little bit to hopefully like have more time running and on his feet. And he did a lot less like CrossFit style workouts, but did a lot more running. So running wise, he was like killing it, doing great. And then we went down there, and he just like right off the bat started out and was having a bad day. Like he felt really crappy, and we don't really know why. And then his knee flared up really bad, and he couldn't go on. Like he couldn't. I can't remember what mile he stopped at, but he couldn't even make it to the 50-mile mark because his knee was hurting him so bad. So that was like really like, that was a disappointment. Not like I'm disappointed in him or anything. It was just like one of those things that happens, you know. It's like there's nothing you can do.
Well, he's worked so hard and trained so long for that.
Yeah, it was like, well, that sucks. You know, like, what do? Your knee is hurting so bad that you can't even can barely like hobble down the trail. And it was, you know, when we decided to call it, it was getting to be nighttime, and he wasn't even to where he could pick up his pacers yet. His pacers were there and ready to go with him, but he had to be to 50 miles before he could get his pacers. And so anyway, it was just like, it was a crappy situation, but as with everything, you live and you learn. So, you know, he's making different changes for next year, and he's thinking of doing some smaller ultras before like he does the next 100-miler. Maybe a 50 and some other things. But anyway, we had a really good trip down to Moab. And the cool thing was like, because he had to basically quit the race so early, we actually got a couple of days to hang out down there with our family members and our kids. And so we got to explore Moab a little bit and see all the petroglyphs. They have just like random spots down in Moab because it's all red rock country, except for on the LaSalle's, which is where he was running his race. But the petroglyphs are just like, you know, sprinkled throughout. And so if you like drive down the right road, you can find them and look at them and take pictures with them. And then we went to Arches National Park one day and did some hikes. So that was fun. The kids had fun with that. So, but it was crazy. There was some like horrible rainstorms, like monsoon rainstorms. And it was like the day before the race started, it was like the worst rainstorm I've ever seen in my life. Just like downpour. I'm like, I really hope it stops before the race. And luckily it did. But
yeah, we got a lot more rain this year than usual too. It's like a really odd summer. It's like super dry now. Like we need rain bad. But
yeah,
as far as like midsummer, it was just wild.
I feel like everything was behind this year. It was like it took forever for it to stop being like rainy. It seemed like it was rainy forever.
Yeah.
And then finally, because like we couldn't even plant our garden because it just kept raining and the weather was just so bad we couldn't do anything. And so finally it like warmed up for like one weekend and we got the garden in the ground, and then it was like 90 degrees. And so it like it just made everything like not
Scorched
be able to grow.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
I know. I had to like replant my watermelons and my pumpkins because it flooded and they just did not survive my first round.
But. Yeah, well, I was a failure. Everyone out there, I'll just tell you right now, I was a failure as a gardener this year. So I we just had trouble, and it was like a really hard year for us because we planted the garden, and like we don't have a ton of money. Like we didn't have a ton of money to, invest a lot in like prepping the soil and getting it all perfect. And then so we finally had our good weather and we planted it, and then it was like I had my cute little sprouts and they were just, doing so great. And then the earwigs came and just decimated everything.
Yeah, we battled those a little bit, but the dang grasshoppers this year.
Yeah,
They were horrible. And like, I don't know, they were all over my flowers. Like I try to use like as natural products as possible on some stuff, and I do on our plants and vegetables and stuff. But like my flowers, I ended up just like throwing some high potent stuff on them because I'm like, they're flowers, but like I have to get rid of these things. Those and you've like the squash bugs, which thankfully, if I even see one, I just start throwing stuff on them because if not, they just take over so fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically all I did. I mean, we didn't go anywhere this summer. We just kind of stayed around our place, but that's okay too. We had a good time just slowing down. So
yeah, it was an interesting summer. I'm not gonna say it was like the funnest, but it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was working really hard. I was working a lot, but I don't know. I'm just hoping that things will turn around this next year and we'll have a little bit better economy to deal with.
Yeah. Our country needs a lot of prayers.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. I was like trying to think of if there was anything super exciting besides the ultra that happened. I mean, my kids had their birthdays.
You had a birthday.
I did have a birthday.
By the way, I need to mail your gift.
Oh, girl. You're fine. I've just gotten to the age where I'm like, I can just stop having birthdays. Like, I'm good. I don't know why, but like since I turned 30, every birthday after that has been just like so lackluster.
It's like,
It's like, well, here we are. I can't afford, like we don't like give each other gifts because we just it's just not like a priority for us. Like if we're going to get something, we usually just get it when we need it and if we can afford it, right? And I'm not talking about like, oh, we're just going to go splurge on this, cool tech item. It's like, oh, we need a new water heater.
yeah.
Great.
Well, and I'm to the point too. I'd rather go do something. Like if Zach's gonna get me something, I'm like, let's go just to dinner by ourselves and go eat what we want to eat or something. Like I'd rather just like do something like that anymore.
Well, and that's pretty much what we ended up doing. Like I think we just went to dinner and like without the kids. We celebrated with the kids and then Cody took me to dinner like another day. But maybe I shouldn't feel this way, but I almost feel like guilty if he gives me something because I'm just like, we have so much other stuff to pay for. Like, don't spend money on me.
Let's work on something that's broke in our house.
Like, no joke. Okay, this is a fun thing. Maybe I'm sure some of you out there will relate and realize that we're just normal people. Some people seem to think, I get the feeling that people think that we are some kind of special, like, magical people. And we're just very boring and average, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But, so our water heater stopped heating and it would only get, like, lukewarm.
That's
And
convenient.
so we were like, okay. Like, Cody's like, I'm just going to go, like, mess with it and see, like, what's wrong with it. So I guess I don't know anything about this stuff, but, like, the burner wasn't working right or something. And it was a part that could be, it was, like, under warranty still. We just had to, like, take it down to this, to the part place. I don't know. Anyway, they would send you the new part, but the part is on back order, and they
Of
don't know when
course.
they're going to get another one in. I'm like, this is a
Is
water
it
heater. Like,
is it on a boat per se? Everything's on a boat anymore.
right? Probably. So we're like, okay. And then, so I was taking the kids, and cause I've been, working out at my parents' house cause they have like a little home gym. And so I would just like go up there and work out. And then me and the kids would shower or take a bath, like a warm bath there. If we were lucky, it would be like once a week. And I know that sounds weird, but we were also doing like, it was just like the days that I was like, I'm not going to boil water today. Like, I'm not going to boil pots and pots of water for just so the kids can have warm bath. And me and Cody would take like the cold showers too. But after doing that for like a month, we finally were just like, okay, we're just going to get a new water heater. So we got a new water heater, and yeah, it's been all fun and games lately. And our 15-year-old dog passed away. So
No.
that's been a fun one that we've had to deal with the last, it's been like 2 weeks, I think. So he was old. Like, he's to the point. Okay, so I don't know if anyone, he was half Vizsla, right? And so that's like a pointer. And when pointers in general are really quite skinny and lean dogs, right? When they get old, I feel like they get even skinnier.
Yeah.
And like they just look bony.
They don't have
And
muscle mass. Yeah.
So he was half Vizsla, half Lab, and he's old. He was like, over 100 in dog year, in dog years, whatever. So we would have like family members like all the time. He's just so sad. Like he looks like he's not healthy. I'm like, he's fine. He's been this skinny for like almost 5 years. Like he's doing fine. And he really was like, he had just gotten to that age where he was like the shadow of our family, and he was like taking care of the kids, and he would just follow them around the yard and like just be their buddy. And I could just like, Briggs could just like roll on top of him, and he would just like lay there, like he was just so good. And it was like, he was like the companion for our young lab, Tika. So anyway, he got old, and then he did end up having some issues that we weren't exactly sure what was going on there. So anyway, so we had to kind of teach Cheyenne about death. I mean, she was, the last time our other dog died, she was 3. Yeah, she was 3. So she kind of remembers, but kind of doesn't. And she's a lot older now, so she kind of took it hard. Yeah. But she's dressing up as a chocolate lab for Halloween because of Ruger. I'm like, all right, whatever you want.
Losing a pet, I don't care what age you are, is hard. Because they just become, well, I guess in our homes, they become part of your family.
Yeah.
So we get pretty emotional when we lose anything, but dogs and horses are like super soft spots in our hearts.
Yeah, those ones are hard. I mean, I've lost goats before, and that was hard for me. mostly because most of the ones that I lost were babies, and that like always just like hurt my heart. But when my other dog Hank died, that was really hard. It took me like years to get to where I could even talk about it without crying.
Yeah.
And Ruger, like, he was so much older, so it was a lot more expected, I think.
Right.
And we were just like, we were mentally preparing for it, but at the same time, like, when it finally happens, it's like you're not really ready for it.
Yeah, it's like Marley and Me all over again.
I haven't even seen that.
Don't. I'll save you. Don't watch it. Like, it's one of those, it's like, you watch it, it's a one and done, you're like, I don't care to ever see that again. That ripped my soul apart.
Yeah, I'm like in a tender state right now. I don't know. It took me years to watch Old Yeller again. Like, I finally showed Cheyenne Old Yeller earlier this year, and I was like, I like, it made it through, but that was a rough one.
It's hard, like, choking up. I know, I tried to read, because we need to get better about doing this. We used to do it every day, but we would read aloud a book together at night.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were reading lots of like Oklahoma authors like Bill Wallace, and so we started reading Where the Red Fern Grows. And like, I've read the book, watched the movie, like, it's like an Oklahoma rite of passage, like, you just have to.
Right.
And so I was trying to read it, and like, I couldn't even get through like chapter 3, like, nothing had even happened, but he was like reflecting back, and I had to hand it over to Zach. He was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like,
man.
I can't do it. I can't read about it.
Seriously. Well, it was funny because I chose to start Henry and Ribsy. Have you read that one?
I haven't, but I've heard about it.
So I chose to start that one. It's not like a sad one. It's just like adventures, this little boy and his dog, right? And I chose to start it, and it was seriously like a week later that Ruger passed away, and I was like, okay, we're going to shelf that one for a minute.
Well, I'm one of those people, it's like, it doesn't even have to be sad. It could just be
I know.
like, oh, I can't even get through it. Zach's like, you're ridiculous. He'll just, dog and horse movies, which, like, my heart horse that I lost in high school, like, it's hard for me to talk about him. Like, I'll tell Zach things about him, or like things that we did, and I'll end up just crying, like bawling. Like, it still hurts me. And my dog I got when I was 15, he passed away a few years ago, Bear, and like, I still hurt over that. Like, he was in our wedding. He like was there when we brought the Paisley home and Scout home, and they're just hard. It's hard to lose dogs like that. Any animal, but I understand. I hate that. I wish dogs lived forever.
Right? Yeah. And then I have breaks here. It's like, Ruger's dead. We're like, you are right.
He died. Funny. He's so funny.
Yes, he did.
He's like, just letting you know.
Just a very, very blunt, matter-of-fact 3-year-old.
Oh.
But yeah, so it's been a little bit of a roller coaster of emotions the last few weeks, but at least we have hot water now. So that's good. And the deer hunt starts this weekend, so this is the first year that we're taking the kids with us.
Oh, that's fun.
So, I mean, they've come with us. We've gone camping and hunting a lot. They've come with us on like the bow hunt, where like Cody just goes and hunts and I stay back at camp with them. And I actually have a deer tag this year because this is the rifle deer, but we kind of had some scheduling things happen where like their grandma normally will take them while we like go and I hunt. And so she can't take him this first weekend. So we are going to just take them, and it might be, 20 degrees, and it might be snowing and wet and cold and rainy, because that's what's on the forecast. But
I'm
it'll be
not
fun.
excited
It'll
about
be
that.
fun. Yeah. Has it been, unreasonably hot there where you guys are?
Well, yes and no. I mean, now we're having really amazing fall weather, but usually it's it's a teaser. We get it for a week and a half, and it's bam, cold. And then it's, because we go through that phase where it's so hot forever. And then you get fake fall, and then you get second summer, and then you get fake fall again. And then it's oh, we're going to warm back up to almost 90. And then it's an ebb and flow for a really long time. And then it cools off a lot. So.
See, and I feel like we usually have that. We have a lot of those fluctuations, but this year it has been in the 80s up until this week. Just to the point where it's okay, it's October. Hello.
Yeah.
It's and I love warm weather, and I'm not normally one to be like that, but it's just getting to the point where I'm I feel like I'm not able to get my brain into the right mode because it's still so hot. I don't even know what to do.
I just want a decent fall season. I don't want to go straight into really cold, wet, gloomy, because I feel like that lasts forever.
It does.
And we all have talked about this so many times on this podcast, but we suffer from seasonal depression. And I literally just loathe it. Once Christmas is over, I am please give me sunshine and 85, please, because I can't handle this doom and gloom anymore. My husband thrives in it. He is so excited it's cooling off, it's getting colder. He wants it cold, rainy, wet.
Yep.
Just
my husband is the same way. He's I just love to cuddle up in blankets. I like to be cozy. I'm I do too, but I also like sunshine.
Yeah. My body literally craves vitamin D. I'm so deficient in it already. I need it.
Seriously, I can always tell by my level of tan, where I'm at, vitamin D, wise. I'm oh man, I need to go out in the sun, get some sunlight, because I start getting more pale, and then I can tell, it's weird, but it's also not weird, but it does correlate to my energy levels and
yes,
happiness.
And I don't care how many supplements you take. It is not the same.
It's not the same, and it doesn't work the same.
Mm-mm.
You have to get it from the sun. No one wants to actually believe that, but it is true. I was thinking, I don't know if we're actually going to do this, but I was thinking it would be fun to do a special episode for only Patreon subscribers with our weird, unconventional beliefs.
So we don't want to completely tank our following.
We're not going to just completely turn everyone off. But if
we're going to see how committed you are. We're going to see how committed you are. Is anyone still listening anyway? But we're going to see. We're going to really see how much you really enjoy us. And then after that special episode, we'll see if you stick around.
Election coverage? Yeah, we could say so much, but leave that for the special episode.
We want you to still like us a little. Maybe not. I don't know at this point.
I don't know. It depends, because I feel like the people who are still listening are our people, and they probably, probably on the same page. Well, what else? What else? Trying to think if there's anything. Oh, I was gonna ask you. Tell everyone what your little new. I mean, you've announced it on your Instagram and you've been posting about it, but I think you should tell everyone what you're doing with your farm girl business, your new endeavor.
Yeah, so last year I started doing vintage Western drops of just like things that I had found, thrifted, picked up at cool places, and everyone seemed to like that because I like to decorate with old cowboy decor. Um, and so, anyways, I started doing that online and would do that monthly for a while. And then I kind of quit for a while just because the things I would find would be super breakable or, really heavy or too big. And just shipping is outrageous. So I'm still going to do online vintage Western drops. They'll just be not as frequent and probably not as much, but I decided to expand my vintage Western section in my store to a booth in a local market in our town. And so I now have a really cool spot on Main Street again that is just vintage Western. I have a few t-shirts and things in there, but the majority of it is old Western decor and maybe not completely like solely Western. Like I have some cool dishes, but they would go in a Western home. So I have found like some really cool lamps and like neat bookends. My aunt has like handmade a couple beautiful bookcases and shelves and stuff in there too. So I have some handmade furniture. Um, but yeah, it's just a little spot down there and it's been really fun. They're open 3 days a week. And then I open my booth. It's been open for 2 weeks now. So I haven't even been there a full month yet, but it's been a lot of fun. My grand and I have been going to like estate sales and garage sales and just different places finding items and um flipping some furniture too, which has been cool. And she's sewn some pillows. We found some like really pretty bark cloth and Western fabric, so she's sewed me some things up, and it's been neat to kind of stretch myself creatively in that way, like in a different way, I guess, within my shop. Because for a while I just got super burnt out with what I've been doing for the last oh yeah, we've been open 10 years now. We celebrated 10 years of business in August or September. Um, so I just kind of wanted to do something just a little bit different than what I've been doing, and it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, I
Well,
guess that was my exciting little shop update. But yeah, and hopefully within the next few months we'll maybe have some new stuff coming out too online because I don't want to forget all of my people who aren't local and can't shop with me locally. So I do want to put some new items on the website. I'm working on that. So but yeah.
well, if you haven't seen it already, you have to go and look at the pictures because it's so cute. I seriously, oh, it like, I mean, this is what the way your stuff has always been, but like I look at it and my heart like flutters. Like I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like I just love the way you put stuff together and just like it's so dang cute. And I'm like, if I was in that little shop, I would just want to spend all my money there because it's adorable.
Thank you.
So I just think that's fun. Like I feel like it's a really good, I don't know what the right word is, but like it's kind of fun to like have that ability to still like have a setup, like be
Yeah.
able to go and do like the creative hands-on stuff and people are gonna see it and be
Yeah.
able to like buy it in person and have that little like the aspects of having a store but without all of the stress and overhead and all of
I think
that.
that's why it's so enjoyable because like my little booth, it's like an 8x10. It's not super big, but it has been so good for me to be able to like stage stuff again
Yeah.
because that's where I originally started. I started with a brick and mortar before I even had an online shop, and I completely relied on walk-in customers. And so it was nice to be able to kind of reflect who I am in that way and how I decorate and design and style things and like my vision for home. I can kind of put that out there again in a little bit different way, I guess. But yeah, it's been nice. It's been a lot of fun to do that and kind of show people that you don't have to spend a ton of money, but you can also like give something really, really old new life again and make your home absolutely stunning. Like it doesn't have to be, I don't love everything brand new anyway. Like I do love some new
Yeah.
things, but I love like things that tell a story. And one thing that I have like noticed that I catch myself doing, especially at these estate sales, is like thinking about the person who owned this stuff at one time and like why did they buy it or what did they like about it or like man like how many memories did they make with this item, and I get to continue that on and pass that item on to somebody else. So I think that's been really cool that I got to handpick that thing that someone picked before me. So that's been really neat. But you also did something recently with your art. So you should tell us about that. And what you're going to be doing, what you've been working on you've been working your tail off on.
Okay. Start at the beginning. So, I kind of turned off my website for a couple months, and because I just needed to basically pause, take a big pause on taking new clients, and because I'm kind of shifting the focus of my business away from doing purely like logos and branding and client based work to doing more fine art paintings, as well as just creating products and selling my own products in my store. And that includes like art prints, and I have an Etsy shop that I sell a lot of digital goods through, as well as I do have my art prints on there too. But it has been like a lot of rumination for like way too long, but finally I think I just had to do something, and things aligned, and I just had to be brave, because my biggest problem is like I just get scared that things aren't going to work out, or that I'm going to do something that is like the wrong choice, or and I struggle with making decisions. So I will want to do something, but then I seriously have to sit on it for way too long before I'll actually like make the decision. So anyway, redid my website, just updated my branding. I just felt like I needed to update everything. I wanted a different feel and a different like overall vibe. Just because I sometimes get bored of things, especially since I'm a designer. So I see things I like, and then I'm like, oh, I want to do that, So made some new logos, reorganized my website a little bit, and I'm still adding to it. It's like very much a work in progress. I have so much art I'm adding to my portfolio on there. Like it is seriously like no joke. It is the last time I updated my website was in 2021. And so it is 3 years of like logos and branding that I'm trying to add to it, and work that I've done. So, just because not necessarily that I'm like gonna quit doing logos altogether. I really needed to take a massive step back and just be more realistic with like what I can actually accomplish, because my life has changed as like in my business and then as a mother, and I am homeschooling my kids, which I was not doing, 3 years ago. And so I've had to just like be really, real with myself, which is very hard to do when you're a high achiever because you like to think in your mind. And it's like, I don't feel like it's like an ego thing. I really think it's just like, for me, it's more of like it's my people pleaser part of me that causes me to take on more than I can handle, because I want to help people. I want to create these things for people. I want to like work with people to create this cool branding that they have this little spark of an idea for, and then I can help it come to life, and we always create something really cool. And I love doing that. But in order to create branding for people, it is like extremely emotional and very, like, it takes all of my creativity. Like, it's not, I think that is one thing that people don't always understand, is like how much, like, the people, obviously, like, it's their business. They have the idea for it, and they can see, sometimes they have a good vision. Sometimes people really don't know what they want. And so in those cases, it's even more difficult, because it's like you're really creating everything from the ground up for them. And so you really have to, like, it's almost like you have to get into their heads a little bit and, try and basically, when you're a logo designer, you're trying to figure out what the client wants. Like, you're trying to get into their brains so much and understand how they think and how they run their business and what their business is like. And that is also, you have to know their aesthetic preferences. So you have to get a lot of information from them, and then you have to like sit on it and ruminate on it and research and gather resources and inspiration and all this stuff. And it is like quite a process. And so when I'm doing like 1 or 2 logos for someone, like, it's still that process is just a little bit more condensed. When I'm doing like a full branding package, it's like very intensive, very lengthy, and then I deliver like thousands of files. So it's a lot of work for one person to do. And I just got to the point where I was like finally being honest with myself. I'm just like, I can't do it at the capacity that I used to be able to. And I also have just so many ideas for things that I want to create as far as like products and artwork. And I really want to do some fine art oil paintings, because I would love to be represented in a gallery at some point and do art shows and things like that, and create more art prints so that people can buy my prints as well as my originals and all of those things. So that was like really long-winded, but that's kind of like the shift. So I've changed some things with my website to reflect that. And then I also, this is the one I haven't really talked about, because I've been doing it very like behind the scenes haven't really talked about it because it's just a lot of work, and it's something that is like, it took me a long time to even get clarity for myself. But I basically mutated my Little Coyotes website, and it is now called the Pinion Range Mercantile. And the reason I did that was because for a while I was selling only Little Coyotes stuff on Little Coyotes website, and then I was selling like my art prints and other things on my website, and then also on my Etsy shop. And it got to the point where I was like so scattered that I couldn't keep things straight, and having to deal with orders coming from Shopify and orders coming on Squarespace was like, I couldn't deal with it because they're so different, and I just don't really love Squarespace for like their like e-commerce stuff. So I was like, I need to just have like a website that is like, everything is all under one roof for the most part, And then, I will still have my Etsy because the organic search is really nice on Etsy because I sell a lot of wedding invitations and Christmas cards through there and people can just find it organically. And so I don't have to rely on social media. I mean, it's still scary because Etsy can suspend your shop at any moment without warning and without reason. So that's a little scary, but until I get enough traffic to my store. I used to have really good traffic and I don't currently. So anyway, art prints and originals as well as all my little Coyote stuff, and then I'm even going to be adding Cody's stuff that he makes on there, and just so everything is all in one place.
Yeah.
But the idea is that it's kind of like a mercantile, right? It's there's lots of different types of items, and one day, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I do think that one day, maybe in the future, maybe when I have teenagers, I will have the time or something, and I'll live in just the right tourist town that I can open a brick and mortar and do that stuff with, have all those same things, but in a brick and mortar store. So I don't know. It just is what makes sense to my brain right now. So that's fun. And then, I did enter in an art show with the hopes of being selected to, because it's an art show, but you have to get selected and then you create the artwork for it. Anyway, I did not get selected, so there's that.
Gotta keep trying. Don't give up.
It's all good. Anyway, that's all my business updates, but is there anything else you want to talk about? Fun stuff over there?
I don't think so. I know this episode's kind of been a hodgepodge catch up, but we are excited to get back to podcasting. We do enjoy this. We like connecting with you all, and we do want to provide some value, but we want it to feel like you're sitting with us, on the front porch, just having a conversation. So we would love your suggestions. We want to talk about things that you want to hear about. So, send us some recommendations, and we have some fun ideas. This next season, I don't think is really going to be a theme, particularly last season we had Tell Your Story, and it was all guests. And, we've done seasonal seasons, I guess you should say, a fall season, winter season. But I think this next one is just going to be kind of random, and I'm kind of excited about it. We don't really have a plan. Season 4, we had everything mapped out, and even half of it pre-recorded before we even launched it. So this time, in true Talia and Kinsey fashion, we are just flying by the seat of our pants and going with it.
Well, so, we're just in a season right now, and it's busy. Yeah. So we're just trying to find, we love doing this, and so we want to, and it's also our girl talk time,
Yeah, so we don't get a lot of it, so
we want to keep making it a priority to have our little time for recording and make it something that you guys can relate to and that you can get value from. Also, I don't know how many of you know this. We have shared it a little bit this last season, but we are putting our episodes on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube more often, you can watch or listen to our episodes that way. And you can also leave comments on YouTube, which is cool.
Yes.
Because you can't do that on the other platforms. So if there's something that you liked about the episode in particular, you can leave a comment on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe, because if you subscribe, then whenever we release a new episode, it's on your homepage on YouTube. So, make sure wherever you're listening, make sure you subscribe.
Yeah, and on Instagram, which we will get better about posting that. And I do want to say, I know we've promised like merch and different things like that. We are getting to that. Like we said, our lives have been crazy. We are just regular people, and it's been kind of a crap show for a while. Uh, so we will get things up soon though, because we do want to open our merch shop with more things. I do custom embroidery through my shop now, and I have since this spring. I haven't advertised it as much as I'd like, but um, I'm hoping that I can get some like fun caps on there and maybe some cute like homestead aprons. Maybe we can get a t-shirt design or two thrown on there. But we are trying to get creative in that way because we also need financial support for the podcast. Podcasting is not free. It does cost money that comes out of our personal pockets, and so we're just trying to find ways to help us cover the cost. And we thought merch would be a good option because it also gives you something really cool and creative that you can only get through us. So if you have merch suggestions, we will take those as well.
Yeah. And honestly, like, we just want to be able to cover the cost, right? Like,
yeah.
If we can just cover the cost of the platforms that we need for our website and for our hosting and recording, like, that would be ideal. Like, we don't need to be making tons of money off of this, and just know that we are not.
Yeah.
We just want to like cover our costs.
Yes. And we're also open to the idea of sponsorship. So we've kind of tossed that idea around a little bit about advertisements on our podcast. We don't want to be just a complete infomercial, but we do like sharing small businesses that we love, and we love to support you in that way and get you featured. So if you feel like you would be a good fit, we would like to talk to you about it. If you want to email us, that would be great. We don't want a ton of ads either. We want our podcast to be semi ad free, but that's just another way that we could maybe offset the cost of our show. So
yeah, and yeah, I don't know. I think that's about it. Oh, one last thing. Our ebook is still available if you haven't got it yet. It's only $12. It is on our website, and it is a recipe ebook, and it is just the right season for it. We're getting into cozy fall weather, and it'll be winter soon, and this ebook is just full of fall and winter recipes that are really, really yummy. And
it's
like
so
a lot of
cute.
good holiday ones.
Yes, it's so cute. And you could even gift it to someone. And if you wanted to get even fancier, you could download it and then have it like professionally printed at like Office Depot or Staples, and even have it bound if you wanted to get even fancier. But it would be a really cute gift idea for someone, especially this season, like she said. So keep that in mind. And again, we will do our best to try to get our merch shop up and going pretty soon. We've had a lot, obviously, going on. And it's just, yeah, I think everybody has a lot going on. And it's election season. It's like the Wild West out there right now. So just like, taking it a day at a time. So
Yep. We're going to make it, you guys. We're going to make it. We can do this.
We will work on that. Patreon is like the best place to support us. And if we can get someone besides my mother to be a patron, we're going to put out some like quality, like Prairie After Dark content. Okay.
Seriously.
We're going to do some episodes.
That is something that I do want to get feedback from you guys though, because I want to know, because like we're in the same boat as you. Like we know how tight money is. And we know that there are certain things, like obviously there are certain things for us that are worth it to pay for, or, you know, a cause that we believe in that we're going to, you know, or a creator that we like that will help them grow or whatever.
Yeah.
But I want to know, like, if you're, you know, looking at a Patreon, you want to support it could be us or any other creator, but like, what are things that you're like, oh yeah, I'd pay that, you know, like I'd pay that once a month. What are some things that you would want in return for your money, right? Like, what are because everyone has a different way of doing it. Like, some people have special episodes, some people have goodies or, you know, freebies or like printables or, you know, just whatever different things fit their brand. But I just want to know, like, from you guys, and you can tell us on Instagram, send us a message, or you can send us an email. We also have an email. But just let us know, kind of like, I just want to hear your thoughts. Like, it can even be like, I have no money, so I'm not going to pay for anything. And that's good to know as well, because that's just real life, right? But I know not everyone is at the same level, and there are some people that, you know, still have the means to help creators out. So just you know, drop us a line, tell us what you think, what you'd want to see there.
Yeah. And if there's like some, you know, seasonal things that you want us to talk about too, we'd love suggestions. Yeah. I want this to be like a fun podcast, like something that you get value from, but also not like something that's so super heavy, because I feel like everything is heavy. And whether
Right.
that's like the news or even some of these like well-meaning podcasts that are supposed to kind of like help you in life, I feel like sometimes it almost stresses me out more. So
well, and that's the whole thing. Like, when we originally had the idea for this podcast, it was never to be like a really information heavy, like, you know, nuts and bolts type of podcast. Like a home, you know, there's a lot of like homesteading podcasts out there that are like, you know, all of these canning tips, or like, you know, how to do this in your garden. And it's like I'm not against any of those things, but not every episode is going to be like that. Like, we might throw a couple in here and there, but like, we wanted it to be more conversational and just so that it feels like you're sitting with us, like having a conversation with us, and we're just talking about, you know, the different things that we experience and go through in life, and we can share tips with each other to help make our lives better. But it is a heavy world out there. And do you ever get to the point where you're like, you've listened to so many of the heavy podcasts, and you're just like, and now my brain is fried. Like, I just need something like funny so that I can just laugh.
Yes. Yes.
And just like, or just something that's just not, you know, not full of information. Because I feel like when you're stressed too, it can have the opposite effect, where it's like, instead of building you up, it just makes you freak out, like you're not doing enough and you're
so
failing
behind
at life.
Yeah. Yeah. So. If you guys have ever thought that we had anything together, we do not. So.
Well, you know, we have our strengths, but we have many weaknesses.
many. But again, that's what people like. That's, you know, it's what a lot of people see. They see like, you know, 15 seconds of your life on social media here and there, and they're like, oh man, she's got it going on. And it's like, nope.
Right.
Not at all.
Right.
So
it's like, I can post like, that's another thing. Is like, there's a reason why I don't post a lot of like content that includes me in it because, I'm mostly a hot mess.
This is my daily.
And so is my house. So,
yeah.
You get like the pretty art pictures and then people think, what they want to think. Some people think I'm like incredibly successful and they can go ahead and think that, but it's not really totally reality. So we just want to be real, but like a pretty real. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like we've said before, like I don't want to go follow someone else's drama and junk on social media, so I kind of don't like the be vulnerable and all of that, because I am selective about what I share because there's a reason for that, and some things should stay private. And
exactly.
I don't have to post things on social media that I don't want on there. But also, like, I come to Instagram like I come to Pinterest. I come to be inspired and to gain inspiration and see cool things and follow awesome small businesses and connect with really cool people. Like I don't ever leave there, I guess because I'm selective on who I follow, but I don't ever leave there feeling like discouraged or, oh man, like jealous or anything like that. Like I want to come there and feel better. Like,
exactly.
If that makes sense at all. And
you
so I guess people just, I guess people just take social media in different ways because we're all different, but that's how we kind of look at it. And so when I do hear people say things and like meaning it well, like we've got it all together, I just laugh because I'm like, yeah, no. Like I just shared a pretty picture. Like this is a little tiny piece of my house that's clean, but everything else around it outside of that frame is a tornado. So, and that's fine. That's the season of life I'm in, and that's okay. But
right. And I also don't buy into the whole like, well, that's being inauthentic. It's like, no, it's not. It is authentic. It's my reality. Like my house is never 100% clean. Whose house
and
is?
It won't
like,
be.
It is like always shifting. Like sometimes I'll spend an entire day and me and my kids will get their room like looking like a magazine, and that lasts for about 2 hours. Oh, that's the other thing I did. I forgot. I painted my kids' room and I redecorated it, and it is so cute, and I haven't taken pictures of it yet. So
you'll have to FaceTime me and show me.
I should take some because they are Pinterest worthy. Like first time my kids' room has ever been Pinterest worthy. But
well, it's sad.
So cute.
Because my kids have shared a bedroom since Scout got out of a crib. They want their own rooms now. Aww. So they're willing to let the playroom go and have their own rooms, and it makes me really sad.
Oh.
So I'll be redoing those soon.
Oh, let's not even get into that conversation. That's the other like inner struggle that, children growing up, no one ever talks about how hard that is.
You know what my brain goes to? It goes to Toy Story 2 and the Jessie scene where she's like reflecting on Emily leaving her.
Yeah.
And like all the stages of like Emily's room.
Yeah.
And like, because they're all freaking out about being packed away in the attic and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And like, I was just thinking about having to like pack up away like their toys and stuff, because a lot of them I'm saving for our grandkids one day.
Right.
And like, I tear up thinking about it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is gonna be like the last time they play with these, or like a lot of them they don't even play with anymore, and it just it rips me apart. It's hard.
Man. Okay, I'm not even gonna go there because that's a soft spot right now. But I did see a reel, though, back to, like, being, not sharing your total, like, everything online. But I saw a reel. And I was thinking about it today because I was like, yeah, that's, like, not me. So it's like, this is what a real house looks like. And it was like, she's showing all of the things that are unattractive, right? Like they're like the not Pinterest worthy, like the not aesthetically pleasing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And people just like fawn over these reels, like, oh my gosh, like you're so real, you're so authentic. And I'm like, if you show that kind of stuff, like I'm probably not going to follow you.
Yeah.
I might even unfollow you.
Well, and it's like everyone's aesthetic is different. So, like,
Right.
my aesthetic is probably not going to be what the majority of people like, and that's okay. So, like, I
Yeah.
don't even like that phrase, like, aesthetically pleasing, because it's like, well, that's all opinion too.
Right. Because, like, a lot of people, like, I know the cottage style is really in right now and it seems to be, like, trendy. But, when that goes out, there will still be the people like us who really like cottage style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like
I,
grandma's house.
I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing is, like we were saying, is just, like, I like to be inspired. I like to see beauty. And, like, I have ADHD. Like, I need the dopamine hit. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? It's like, I like to see
Yeah.
things that are beautiful. And it's like, obviously, I'm not going to just, like, if you're just showing your house and, like, you're talking or whatever, if you have something of value to say and you're a person I like, I'm going to follow you no matter what. Right? It's when you're just, like, it's almost like you're putting down people who value beauty
Mm-hmm.
in their life or value, like, that want the aesthetic, like they want their house to look beautiful. It's almost
Mm-hmm.
like they're putting those people down, and that's the part I don't like about it. You know
Well,
what I
and it's
mean?
okay to have a beautiful home. Like, our home is my safe place, so I want it to feel good when I come there. And also, a lot of these people, like, some of them don't spend thousands of dollars making their home beautiful. You don't have to spend a ton of money to make your home pretty. So it's okay. Like, it's okay if you do. Also, like, people work hard for their money. They can spend it how they want to. Like, I'm just tired of all the little opinions about everything because it's like you truly don't know these people. Quit judging them and being ugly.
Yeah.
But just like, and I follow people whose style, like, I don't even have. Like, we're not even close in style, but I gain inspiration from that about how their process is or how they do things. And I'm like, oh, I could do that process, but with like the things I decorate with. That would be really
Mm-hmm.
cool. So,
Right.
like, I follow accounts that we're not even similar, but I think they're awesome.
Right.
But
Anyway, I feel like we can make that into its own episode, I'm sure.
mm-hmm.
But I think for tonight we'll just call it good.
Yeah.
And
Just wanted to let y'all know we're still alive. We're
yeah.
still here.
We
We're
needed
still
like
doing
a
the
catch-up
podcast.
episode because we did all of our guests and we didn't have like a catch-up episode. So it's been a while since you heard like directly from us. So
Yeah. Well, and we're getting into a big season, obviously, our country's future. And then um the holidays, of course, which are always fun. I think we had some really fun holiday episodes last year, so we'll also reshare like some of our old episodes, so you can go reference those if you're new listeners. But yeah, I think this next season we'll have just lots of fun, various topics to talk about. We're also might be incorporating like quarterly or seasonally some of our favorite things episode. And so we'll try to like put that in somewhere, just fun things that we're enjoying or doing. So it's another idea.
I want it to be, I've always like, since we started the podcast, I just wanted it to be like a little community. And
Mm-hmm.
so however we can help create that, whether it's like, I don't know, if you want to follow us on YouTube and we get more YouTube followers, or if you're more active on Instagram, like I don't know. I want to get to know you guys better, because I feel like we have a lot of listeners who listen to us regularly, and then we have some new listeners that come, but I feel like I don't know you guys that well. So
yeah, we're definitely going to be
right.
making an effort to be more present and connect with you all and provide more within the Paintbrush Prairie, whether that's Patreon, our shop, YouTube, whatever. So
Yeah. All right. Well, we will call that an episode. So we're glad you guys are listening, and we hope you have a wonderful week, and we will be back with you soon.